gonna make the f***ing difference between winning and losing.
We've lost our way as sellers. Attention to details fading, and people no longer value the journey and instead focus purely on getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible. This often comes at the expense of growth and learning. It's like if Kobe only wanted to play in the games or Serena only wanted to compete in the Wimbledon without putting in all the work that you don't see. Or Allen Iverson.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Never mind him. Sales always has been and always will be a game of inches. And the inches that we need are all around us. Al Pacino taught me that. I'm Ryan Abu Ali, currently the youngest vice president ever at a multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 organization. But I've done big software and small software and everything in between. And welcome to my almanac, a collection of experience from the last 10 years, synthesized into stories that will help you sell more. So, here are 3 things I regret I didn't know sooner that would have helped me transform from an order taker into a real seller. And the first one is obsessive attention to detail. Just because I can email 1,000 prospects with one click, doesn't mean I should. Just because I can ask for the meeting at the beginning of the call, it doesn't mean I should. But sometimes we get so caught up in the rat race flexing about how great we are as sellers online that we think blasting 1,000 emails to a group of prospects that we know nothing about is good selling. But just because you can send those emails, should you? Is it actually helping you grow personally or helping you drive more revenue, or are you just doing it so you can tell your boss you did? Selling is so exciting, and of course, it encourages us to think big, but sometimes thinking big can hinder what's best for you, what's best for the business or the prospect, to the point where less but better might actually yield more. Now imagine you've been assigned the task of booking 10 meetings by the end of the week. Initially, you may think the obvious solution is to send 1,000 emails and hope that you get 10 bookings. Just blast them out. Email prospecting works just like magic, right? But after taking a closer look, however, you might consider a different approach. Instead of mass emailing, you could focus on smaller details and personalization by sending out 50 carefully crafted emails to secure those 10 meetings instead. This approach not only yields the same outcome, but also challenges you to think and grow. It forces you to exercise a different skill set, maybe one that you're not so used to, focused on details as opposed to simply just clicking a button in your automation tool. Those details come in the way of pre-call intel, buying groups, picks, problem identification charts, or maybe just a little extra homework. The takeaway here is obsessive attention to detail is a critical skill, and mastering this is essential for success. And if you skip that part, you'll be irresponsibly limiting your growth. Now, the next thing I wish I knew in this game of inches is the idea that you must be intentional with building connections over the phone. I get it. You have KPIs hanging over your head. There's a rigid structure you're told to follow, a very specific playbook. And the popular way to make sure you win is by going an inch deep and a mile wide across your entire pool of prospects, because you're worried that if you're too focused, if you're too specific, you might not ever get the meeting or the sale. So you end up making call after call after call, hoping someone picks up. And when they finally do, you're so eager to book the meeting that you miss out on everything that happened in between. Whether you manage to book that meeting or not, one thing's for sure: that call probably didn't go the way you wanted it to. You see, connecting with someone over the phone is all about those small moments sprinkled throughout the call that make you stand out in a world full of copycats. Let's use a real example. An old team member of mine used to always quickly go in for what I like to call the home run ask. Instead of playing small ball, they're gripping the bat a little too tight, swinging it as hard as they can with the hope that they make good contact. I know you all have one on your team, or maybe that person's even you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This BDR would be grinding out dials. 125 a day, boom. Finally, they get a connect. They're in conversation. But I don't hear probing questions. I don't hear any supporting responses. They're just making sure the boxes are checked. They're following that rigid playbook, that structure. They're just swinging. Now, we're rushed to the end of the call. It's quickly time for the ask. The ask is, you got a calendar handy so I can book you in for next meeting? You might be thinking, what's wrong with this? Got the job done, but only if the job was to only book the meeting. But do you understand the nuances of the buyer? Did you add value throughout the call? Quick transactions over the phone are a losing recipe, as building relationships, building human connection over the phone always takes time. Jumping straight to the end goal oftentimes forfeits the small moments that, in my opinion, matter the most when building connection, specifically when you're trying to sell something. So spend a little bit of extra time, ask the right questions, always add value, and you'll be miles ahead of the person sitting next to you. And the last point is one that I've embraced, as I have a lot of admiration for our licensed tradespeople. There's always been something fascinating to me about being able to create something with your own hands. And I don't know if you all know this, but to become a licensed tradesperson, a plumber for example, you're required to complete 9,000 hours of training as an apprentice that must be approved by the Ministry of Labor. The point is, you can't just call yourself a licensed plumber. So the final point in this game of inches is you need to start thinking like an apprentice. Although plumbing and sales may differ in technical skills, they share common principles of learning through hands-on experience and mentorship. Both roles require a structured training process where you gain practical knowledge and skills under the guidance of experienced professionals. The emphasis is on a learning journey, a plan, a curriculum, where you'll acquire very specific expertise by completing certain milestones. Finally, both plumbing and sales require dedication to the craft and a commitment to improving a specific set of skills in order to become proficient in the respective field. There's a growing trend in sales where individuals expect to move from point A to point B as quickly as possible, often impacting their overall growth as a salesperson. In most cases, I advise against it because, like a plumbing apprenticeship, there are benefits to spending time in roles such as things like exposure to different systems, playbooks, different communication styles, or even industries. Or, my personal favorite, just giving yourself a little bit of time to master the foundational skills you need to win. It's simple. The more you've seen, the better you'll be able to handle whatever gets thrown at you. And ultimately, the more capable seller you'll become. So if we continue playing on the plumbing example, imagine that as an apprentice, you didn't complete your required hours to get certified. You didn't do the 9,000. But someone called you and said, hey, I got a job for you. You're a plumber now. You've been appointed. The first job is to rough in a new bathroom, but you don't even know what kind of pipe to use. You were so blinded by getting to that destination that you missed out on all the value, all the learning that you would have got if you didn't skip right to the end. It might feel like a short-term win, but you likely end up stunting your future career growth because, it'll be hard to slow down again and get that chance to develop those skills. You'll probably end up jumping from team to team, thinking it's everybody else's fault, calling your friends, asking them about specific tactics, when the tactics aren't the problem. So just because that AE job is available, it doesn't mean you should take it. Just because you've closed that deal doesn't mean you're a closer. In most cases, the journey is there for a reason. Don't rush it. Embrace it. Do your hours. Think like an apprentice because your future self will thank you for it. So, that's why I made this video. As a reminder to please stop throwing Hail Marys. Stop trying to move as quickly to the end as humanly possible. Embrace the journey and start giving a crap about the details because they matter. Fast money never lasts that long, and in the words of Al Pacino, life is a game of inches, and the inches we need are all around us, and we know when we add up all of the inches, that's going to make the difference between winning and losing. And sales, just like life, is a game of inches.
I got people calling me saying, yo, can you help me with this? Yo, have you ever used this tool before? I put on my hand and help them. 2 weeks later, they're trying to take food out of my plate. Without even saying anything to me, without even telling me. What kind of world is this?